What's up, everybody? This is Ingram, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up a fishery, or rather the fisher machine from the Minefactory Reloaded mod. If we look up the recipe here, it requires gold ingots, fishing rods, 2 buckets, and then this thing called a factory machine block. Now the recipe for the fishing rods and the buckets is fairly simple, but the factory machine block requires something called plastic sheets. Now you may have not seen these plastic sheets before, but they're really easy to make. They're made up of raw plastic, put into this little grid pattern here, and you get 4 plastic sheets per set of this raw plastic. Now, to actually get the raw plastic, all you have to do is take normal rubber and put it into a furnace, and it will turn it into raw plastic. You just smelt it like anything else. So, as you can see here, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. It's extremely easy to set up, and it's actually almost an unlimited source of food. The setup itself is very easy. The idea is that we just need to make an infinite pool of water, which for this particular machine is actually just a 3x3 setup of water, and you only actually need 3 buckets of water to get this to work. So if we take a bucket and we put it in 3 different corners, just like this, then you can see that it flattens everything out and makes source blocks for all the water. Now I found the easiest way to get this fisher actually in here is to put another block of marble down and to put the fisher directly on top and then get rid of the block underneath. And because this is an infinite pool, everything should automatically fill in and create a source block underneath there. So at this point, this thing is almost ready to go. We just need to power it. That's how easy this thing is. Now we have a couple different power options to get these fisheries working at max capacity. The first is a steam engine, and I don't really recommend these. They're not very easy to maintain, and they tend to take up a lot of room. The fisheries can also handle EU from Industrial Craft and MJ from Buildcraft in the Thermal Expansion mod. Now, in our base, we have a central power core of a bunch of combustion engines that actually run and remotely power these things, which are Redstone energy cells. Now, these things are part of the Thermal Expansion mod. They're extremely easy to use, and they provide enough power for the fishery to run at a pretty good clip. Now, this over here is just a low voltage solar array, and it too provides enough power for the fishery to run. The last thing we want to figure out is how we're actually going to take advantage of the fish that are being produced. Now there's a couple different ways. You can either put just a straight chest on top of there, and then any fish that are produced by the fishery will go into the chest above it. Or you can do a setup like this, where you actually pipe the fish out of the top and into a furnace where they'll be automatically cooked. Now you don't need a wooden transport pipe. All Minefactory Reloaded blocks will actually pump straight into a pipe. We can see a fish going in there automatically, and those will go right down and into our iron furnace. The final setup, which we actually use, is to pump everything into an ender chest. Now if you remember from the other video tutorial that you may have seen, the reason we use an ender chest is because our ender chest is tied into a centralized sorting system. And this centralized sorting system, if you haven't seen it in any of our other videos, you're going to want to check it out. But it will take those fish, it will automatically pull them out, it'll send them to the furnace to get cooked, and then those things that have been cooked will automatically get put into the food chest. So this is a great way if you want a bunch of fisheries, or if you're having your fishery be part of a larger food generation plant. For example, if you're growing wheat, potatoes, carrots, or any of those other food types, you're going to want every one of these machine rigs to be as simple and as compact as possible. And that's what we have achieved by using the centralized sorting machine that takes advantage of these ender chests. So at this point you should be all set. You should have your fishery up and running. If you have any questions or if you run into any problems, please let us know either with comments on this video or on our blog at themindcrafters.com. Please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching and stay poised.